Good afternoon, Dunkirk and Fredonia listeners, and welcome back to News at Noon. News at Noon is brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. I'm News Director Lee Pye here today with Scott Bassett, Sara Lodespoto, Joshua Ribakove, as well as Hunter Halterman, and Assistant Sports Director Parker Gurnett. With this top of the hour update, we'll bring you the latest of SUNY Fredonia's campus news and events, sports, weather, and music, as well as national and international news. But first up, let's go to the event bulletin for this week. The English department is hosting a literary festival on Friday. Many clubs and things will be at tables such as clubs like Sigma Tau Delta, Writers' Ring, and the literary magazine from an English class called The Trident. There will also be book signings and books to buy. The event is on Friday, April 26th, from 12 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. in the Williams Center Multipurpose Room. That's it for the information through the grapevine. Next up, we'll bring it to Scott for our latest campus news updates.
Tomorrow, Thursday the 25th, from 5 to 6 p.m., a resume workshop will be held, a perfect opportunity for anyone in need of resume building advice to beef up their brain and their application. The workshop is being held in G103A of the Williams Center. The Crucible, a classic of theater at large, and Abigail, its tandem piece, are being brought to Marvel Theater this weekend. The shows, designed to be seen back-to-back, will be alternating throughout multiple days, starting with Crucible at 7:30 p.m. on Friday, and Abigail's first showing will be on Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. Like Lee said, the Fredonia English Department will be hosting a slew of guest writers, local librarians, and student groups to bring you a fun night of demonstrations. All of these events will be held in the Williams Center, starting with the Student Literary Magazine panel from 12 to 1 p.m. in G138, followed by the Area Librarians panel from 1 to 2 p.m. in the Blue Devil Lounge, and finally, the Professional Writers panel from 2 to 3 p.m. in the Multipurpose Room. That's it for campus news. Now let's send it back to Lee.
Thanks, Scott. Next up, we have local news. Chautauqua County officials are considering beginning the process of having a large solar project installed at the Dunkirk Airport. The Memorandum of Understanding the county and the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority is attempting to conduct a feasible assessment for the development of the utility-scale solar photovoltaic renewable energy project at the Dunkirk Airport. This is basically developing renewable energy products at underutilized sites. Most of the solar projects in Chautauqua County are 5 megawatts or smaller, but the NYSERTA says that they are looking to construct a 25 megawatt solar project with battery storage. At the Dunkirk Airport, about 168 acres of land are available to do this. Additional studies are needed, and the legislator must approve the MOU before things can continue with this proposal. The actual construction goals have not been addressed yet. And a Westfield man whose driver's license have been revoked more than 24 times has again been arrested. According to the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office, on Friday around 11 a.m., deputies stopped 27-year-old Andrew Harris, who has had a suspended driver's license driving on Route 394 in the town of Chautauqua. According to the Sheriff's Office, a New York State license check found that Harris had 29 suspensions. Harris was also allegedly found to have a quantity of methamphetamine. He was charged with first-degree aggravated unlicensed operation and seventh-degree criminal possession of the controlled substance. He is scheduled to appear in the town of Chautauqua to answer to these charges. But that's all for your local news update. Now let's send it to the sports guy, Parker Gurnett.
On Monday, the Fredonia baseball team continued its hot streak, increasing their winning streak to 4 games. Fredonia beat Hilbert College in both games of their doubleheader 10-4 and 5-4, respectively. In the first game, junior Christian Pagano continued slugging, hitting his 3rd home run in 3 games and his 6th on the season. Junior Alex Gannon also added a home run, while sophomore Michael Burns picked up the win on the mound. In the second game, senior Kyle Tedford and junior Ethan Benke each went 2 for 3 at the plate with a run, a stolen base, and sophomore Nick Sipis picked up the win on the mound in the second game, increasing their overall record to 13-16. The team will be back in action at home today, weather permitting, at 4 p.m. against Westminster College of Pennsylvania. The Fredonia softball team played a doubleheader against SUNYAC foe Brockport on Tuesday, splitting the games, losing 1-0 and winning 14-5, respectively. Fredonia lost their first game in extra innings in the bottom of the 8th, behind a stellar 10-strikeout game from fifth-year student Emily Chelius. In the second game, junior Allie Wandell led the Blue Devils at the plate, going 1 for 2 with 3 RBIs, 2 runs, and 2 stolen bases. Junior Megan Guidry also added 3 RBIs. Their record now sits at 11-17. They will be back in action Friday at Oneonta for a doubleheader starting at 3 p.m. And today at 4 p.m., the women's lacrosse team will be back in action for their final home game of the season against SUNYAC opponent Geneseo. This will mark the final time Fredonia sports will face Geneseo in the SUNYAC, as after this season, Geneseo will be leaving the SUNYAC and going to the Empire 8. In local sports news, the Buffalo Sabres have found their so-called new head coach. On Monday evening, the Sabres announced the hiring of Lindy Ruff as their new head coach. This comes just 6 days after the firing of former head coach Don Granato. Ruff coached the Sabres for 15 seasons from 1997 to 2013, and during this time he ranks 5th all-time and 2nd among active coaches with 864 career regular season wins for the Sabres, the Dallas Stars, and the New Jersey Devils. His 935 combined wins in the regular season and playoffs are tied for 4th in league history. In his opening press conference, Ruff said, begin quote, "I am both humbled and honored to be trusted to help this team win now. It's not a job that I take lightly." End quote. And in playoff news, NHL playoffs are back in action tonight with 3 games, starting with the Boston Bruins at Toronto Maple Leafs at 7 p.m., the Las Vegas Golden Knights at the Dallas Stars at 9:30 p.m., and the Los Angeles Kings at the Edmonton Oilers at 10 p.m. And in the NBA playoffs, there are 2 games in action tonight with the Miami Heat at the Boston Celtics at 7 p.m., and the New Orleans Pelicans at the Oklahoma City Thunder, tipping off at 9:30 p.m. And that's it for your sports update. Let's send it over to Sara with the weather.
Now, here is your Northern Chautauqua weather update brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems.
Hi, y'all. Today we have a mix between sun and clouds as we rise to 50. I finally gave in and took my shorts out. The weather has been behaving and giving us some nice weather, with the exception of this rainy morning. Plus, I had this outfit of mine of a long-sleeve shirt paired with jean shorts for almost a week now, and I gotta wear it. Don't worry though, I of course left some sweaters and jeans out, especially after finding out tonight will be a chilly 28. With light breezes and light cloud cover, tomorrow's looking nice at 52. With May just around the corner, is anyone excited to go home? Hey, I love it here as much as the next person, but I can't wait to hang out with my friends and enjoy the nice weather without homework looming over me. Do you have any particular summer plans? My summer plans is as clear as tomorrow's night sky, lowering to 35. That's it for your 2-day weather. Keep listening. I'll be back with the rest of your weekend forecast. For now, let's take it to Lee for a local music update.
Quite a few shows are coming up within the next few weeks. Last Call Entertainment is presenting at BJ's with bands like Auto Ignition, Do Crime, Ghetto Black, and Midstep on Thursday, April 25th. The event is at 51 West Main Street in downtown Fredonia. Doors are at 9 p.m. and music is at 10 p.m. The radio show The Local Lowdown is hosting a show at the Creek House. Bands like Pilot Field, Previous Love, Early Worm, and a fan favorite Amphobia are performing in the house on May 4th. Doors are at 8 p.m. and music is at 9 p.m. You can DM at Creek House IG on Instagram for the location of the event. And Last Call Entertainment is hosting their last show of the semester at BJ's Fest. Bands like Magazine Beach, Robbery Club, Gas Station, The Weather Might Say Otherwise, and B-Roll Casper will be performing at BJ's, again, 51 West Main Street in downtown Fredonia on May 9th. Doors are at 9 p.m. and music is at 10 p.m. That's all I have for music news this week. Now let's bring it to Josh for national and international news.
There has been a recent outbreak of bird flu across the United States this month, and according to the FDA, it is starting to infect dairy cows. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has found remnants of the bird flu in samples of pasteurized milk. The FDA states that the material they have found is inactivated and that the milk does not pose a risk to consumers. And they've also stated, quote, "To date, we have seen nothing that would change our assessment that the commercial milk supply is safe," end quote. FDA and USDA officials claim that milk from infected cows does not enter commercial supply, and federal regulations require that all milk in interstate commerce must be pasteurized. Although no studies on the effects of pasteurization on the virus have been completed, FDA officials say that the past research shows that pasteurization is very likely to deactivate heat-sensitive viruses like the current type A H5N1 avian flu. This morning, a Russian court ordered one of Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu's deputies be kept in custody on suspicion of accepting bribes. This marks one of Russia's most recent high-profile corruption cases, as Deputy Defense Minister Timur Ivanov was detained yesterday by the Federal Security Service, the primary successor to the KGB. The Moscow court has ordered that Ivanov be kept in custody until June 23rd, and the court service has stated, quote, "The investigation believes that Ivanov entered into a criminal conspiracy with third parties, teamed up with them in advance to commit an organized crime by an organized group," the court service said, end quote. Ivanov is pleading innocent, but could face 15 years in jail if convicted. Putin has dismissed a report that Ivanov may be suspected of treason, claiming that it is simply speculation. The aforementioned criminal conspiracy alleges that Timur Ivanov received, quote, "property and services on a particularly large scale during contract and subcontract work for the Ministry of Defense," end quote. Forbes has listed him as one of Russia's wealthiest men in security structures. Perhaps you've been wanting to hear some news from out of this world lately. Well, here it is. NASA's Voyager 1 had gone into quiet sometime last November when Earth stopped receiving signals from the space probe furthest from home. When I say the furthest from home, I mean an astounding 15 billion miles away, a distance so great that it takes about 22.5 hours to send a signal to the wandering probe. Flight controllers had traced the dead communications to a bad computer chip and were able to rearrange the spacecraft's coding to work around the problem. Now, roughly 4 months later, we're finally hearing back from Voyager 1. Yesterday, a JPL spokeswoman described the situation as a phone call where you can't hear the person on the other end, stating that contact was never lost, we just couldn't decipher the signals. Voyager 1 was launched in 1977 to study Jupiter and Saturn and has since been exploring interstellar space since 2012. That does it for today's national and international news. Let's bring it back to Sara for your weekend weather update.
This is why I took out my shorts, because of Friday's 66-degree weather and sunny skies. Actually, maybe I'll wear a dress. I think my favorite article of clothing has to be dresses because I'll prefer them over skirts any day. Especially on a sunny day, a flowy, colorful dress would fix all my problems. However, I don't suggest wearing a flowy dress in the evening though, because the wind picks up and we descend to the low 50s. Look, it's Western New York. You have to expect that we're going to get at least one cloudy, windy day. Saturday is that gloomy day with a high of 69. It's a good thing it's miserable out, though, because I think Winnie the Pooh's donkey friend Eeyore would love to celebrate his birthday under the clouds. Technically, it's not his actual birthday, but in Austin, Texas, they celebrate on the last Saturday of April to raise funds for various charities. So, happy birthday, Eeyore! The nighttime shifts to the low 60s with brief showers and strong winds continuing its course. No need for jackets on Sunday because even though we have cloudy skies, the sun heats us up to 77. The heavy winds fight back, but it only takes off the edge of the heat, so no worries. The overbearing clouds remain till the evening, lowering to the upper 50s. That's it for your weekend forecast. Let's take it right back to Lee.
That'll wrap up for today's edition of News at Noon. Campus News is written by Scott Bassett. Local news for this broadcast is prepared by Lee Pye. Weather is presented by Sara Lodespoto. Sports is presented by Parker Gurnett. Music is prepared by Lee Pye. National and international news is prepared by Joshua Ribakove. And finally, board operations for this broadcast are performed by Hunter Halterman. Thanks for tuning in to News at Noon. Join us every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. From all of us at Fredonia Radio Systems, have a lovely day.